Indianapolis Speedway is a sentimental place for all its accent on technical excellence and harsh reality. That sentiment was personified by the much-admired owner of the track, Tony Hulman, who died last autumn. There's been a lot of speculation and some mystery this month as to who would succeed Tony to utter the words, "Gentlemen, start your engines." New President Joe Cloutier said he would not be the one, but he would not reveal who it would be. Well, most appropriately, it is going to be the widow of Tony Hulman, Mary Hulman. There's Mrs. Hulman now, obviously moved by this moment.
Lady and gentlemen, start your engine.
A sentimental moment at Indianapolis. Mrs. Mary Hulman, another first for Indy. Not too many years ago, women were not even allowed in the pit.
And now race back.
We continue our same-day coverage of the Indianapolis 500. It's time now for the words that are so familiar here, for years uttered by owner Tony Hulman, now by his widow, Mrs. Mary Hulman. Let's go down to trackside now.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine.
The chairman of the board of directors, Mrs. Tony Hulman, uttering the words, used to be simply "Gentlemen, start your engines." Now, of course, it's "Lady and gentlemen, start your engines," in honor of Janet Guthrie, the only woman in the field, the only woman who has ever raced here. Look at A.J. Foyt. That's Mrs. Mary Hulman, the widow of Tony Hulman. She'll be giving the command to start the engines for the first time since 1976. It'll be only two men because Janet Guthrie, the only woman ever to drive at Indianapolis, she drove in 77, 78, and 79, did not qualify this time. So it'll sound like it did in 76.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
And the usual response from the crowd of some 380,000. The crowd gathered all through the night out on 16th Street until the gates open, and now they're all in place. A vast throng and stands all around this 2.5-mile race course, others standing in the infield. At this moment, as you see, the road has been cleared of everyone except drivers and crews. It's time now. Time for Mrs. Mary Hulman to give the most famous command in American sport.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Mrs. Tony Hulman, and the most famous sentence in American sport.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
And so they have, like the traditional words about to be spoken by Mrs. Mary Hulman, the widow of the man who made the Speedway what it is today.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Americans are not given to brevity, but there are a few short sentences that we first hear as children and react to with excitement all our lives. The brief statements are, "Play ball," "They're off," and "Gentlemen, start your engines." The command about to be given by Mrs. Mary Hulman, the widow of the man who made the Speedway what it is today.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
And ready. The engines will actually be started by crew members in the back. No self-starters in these. And now, the moment has arrived for the traditional cry.
And here, to give the traditional command, is the chairman of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mrs. Tony F. Hulman.
Standing by for Mrs. Mary Hulman, the widow of Tony Hulman, the man who made this race course and this event what it is today.
To the head of the field at 33. Here's Jim.
Yes, the moment and the words that we have been waiting have arrived. And it's that time here to give the traditional command is the chairman of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mrs. Mary F. Hulman.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
And there they are. 33 engines being started.
Soon the 11 rows of 3 will unleash their furies down the main straightaway. 800 left-hand turns, 200 laps, 500 miles. We go now to the pace car.
For those 4 words that we have all been waiting to hear. To give the traditional command is Chairman Emeritus of the Board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Miss Mary Hulman.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Mary Fendrich Hulman, ready to give the command to start engines. As the formal ceremony
Ladies and gentlemen,
come to an end.
We are at that time of the day for the command that will start the 73rd running of this event. And here to give the traditional 4 words is Chairman Emeritus of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Board, Mrs. Mary Fendrich Hulman.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
We are at that time of the day for the command that will start the 74th running of this event. And here to give the traditional 4 words is Chairman of the Board Emeritus of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mrs. Mary Fendrich Hulman.
Now, gentlemen, start your engines.
We now direct our attention to the head of the starting field as we await the time for those magic words.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at that time of the day for the command that will start the 75th running of this event. Here to give the traditional 4 words is Chairman Emeritus of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Board, Mrs. Mary Fendrich Hulman.
Get your arm, get your leg over this way.
Which way? I can. Just say it now. Gentlemen, start your engines.
We move now to the head of the field where the next words will be spoken.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the moment for the words we have been waiting to hear has arrived. And to give those words is Chairman Emeritus of the Board of Directors of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mrs. Mary Hulman.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at that time of the day for the command that will start the 77th running of this event. Here to give the traditional words is Chairman Emeritus of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Board, Mrs. Mary Fendrich Hulman.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
There it is, the traditional. Remove control front row, and the voice of Jim Phillippe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at that time of the day for the command that will start the 78th running of this event. And here to give the traditional four words is Chairman Emeritus of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Board, Mrs. Mary Fendrich Hulman.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Go racing. We take you to the head of the line.
Well, we are just a few seconds away now from hearing those famous words. Certainly an emotional time for all of us as we wait the start of the 79th running of this event and the 50th race for the Hulman George family. That moment has arrived. To give those famous words is Chairman Emeritus of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Board, Mrs. Mary Fendrich Hulman.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Mrs. Mary Fendrich Hulman.
Okay. Now. Okay, now. Yes. Then start the race.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Mary Fendrich Hulman, the chairman of the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as she calls the engines to life, and drivers now begin to respond along with the help of their crew.